Holy cow, you want to sell more real estate in 2021 or whatever year you might be listening to this. Let me tell you, the information that Coach Carlin Ellis is about to share with us is applicable no matter what year it is, but particularly right now because she last year closed 138 units with just 5 people on her team. And she also simultaneously owns a brokerage with 140 agents in it. Can you imagine trying to run both at the same time and being able to do both successfully? Well, let me tell you, she's going to share with us right now her top 10 tips for success in the coming year. Now, that being said, before she does, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, and that's Wise Hire. If you are not using Wise Hire right now for your recruiting, you should be. They are fantastic. You're at clubwealth.com/Wise Hire. That's WIZEHIRE. And you can get the Club Wealth discount. But let's talk first really quick with Coach Carlin. Tell us, what are we learning today? What are these 10 tips? And are you going to be sharing not just the tips, but how we can implement them?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we try to overthink this real estate game, and it's really all about some simple facts. And if we follow these rules, get clear on the rules, get really good at them, then it'll help you make things easier, know what to do every single day.
I love it. Well, let's just start off. Let's jump right into it. Tell us, what is tip number one? And by the way, let me throw this out there too. There is a download that you guys will be able to get access to. And I'm actually going to type this into the comments here. And in fact, to get that download, you go to, is it clubwealth.com/must do? Is that right?
That's a really great question.
It is. It's must do's with an S. All right. So here we go. So it's www.clubwealth.com/must do's for the free download of your top 10 tips. So talk to us. Let's just go through them. What's tip number one? What's the key number one?
All right. Key number one is conversations. For a newer agent, especially, it's usually 50 conversations to get to one closing. So you have to be talking to people, buyers and sellers, or potential buyers and sellers, database, people you meet in the grocery store. I don't care, wear your name tag everywhere you go. Have a conversation about real estate with anyone who's willing to listen. It could be conversations on social media through DMs. It could be Facebook. It could be texts, emails. It has to be a back and forth, and it has to involve real estate. So you've got to start talking to people. If your first comment is, I don't have enough real estate, then you're not doing enough conversations, period, end of story. So that's my number one takeaway. Now, where we're going to have these conversations could be from open houses, it could be from internet leads, it could be from for sale by owners, expired, your database, you name it. There's a million ways to go find those conversations, but your number one job every single day is to have those conversations. So I love to tell agents to work backwards, figure out what's your goal for the year and figure out how many conversations a day you need to be having, and then go have them.
It's crazy to me. Sometimes I'll talk with an agent and they'll say, oh, I'm just not doing as well as I'd like to be doing, or I'm not as successful as I should be. And it's just not fair. Everybody else is having more success. What am I doing wrong? And I'll ask them, I'll say, so how many appointments did you set last week? Oh, well, one or none, or, okay, well, then let me ask this. If you didn't set any appointments, how many people did you talk with last week? Oh, well, I talked to a lot of people. No. I'm talking about like new buyers or new sellers that you haven't yet met with. How many of those did you talk with last week? Oh, well, like 3 or 4. And, they give me this weak answer. And I'm thinking to myself, are you freaking kidding me? Okay, let me ask you another question. How many phone calls did you make reaching out to people like that? How many phone calls did you make to clients or not yet clients that you have not yet met with? And man, I got to tell you that it's almost always the same answer. Oh, 3 or 4 or none. And it's like, you wonder why you're not having success. If you want to have success, you got to do the basics, right? You got to get on the phone. You got to get voice to voice and face to face with people that are looking to buy and sell homes. So awesome. So success key number one is more conversations. Is there a number that you recommend?
So for a newer agent, again, the target's going to be 50 conversations equals a closing. So how many closings are you trying to have in a month? If it's just one a month, then you need to have 50 conversations in that month. Break it down by week. You're having 10 to 15 a week. But, I hope we're going a little bigger than one a month. Let's shoot for the stars and at least get 2 or 3 a month. But, so I really challenge my newer agents, less experienced agents, to be trying to get 50 conversations a week at a minimum. And if we go for that goal, it's you're going to blow it out of the park. But for more experienced agents, it's less conversations. You're going to be talking to more people who already know you and have that trust. So it's, closer to 20 conversations for a good experienced agent.
So okay, 50. I don't want to blow past this. So your number that you're sharing here is that if with 50 conversations, and I'm assuming this is with people you have not yet had an appointment with, 50 conversations with a new buyer or new seller equals one closing.
So it's 50 conversations about real estate with anybody. Anybody. It could be your database. It could be a stranger in the store, like I mentioned, wearing your name tag around. It is 50 conversations about real estate, period. Through those 50, on average, you're going to find somebody who wants to buy or sell a home and get to that closing. You're probably going to find a few leads who want to buy and sell. But for a new agent who really doesn't know what they're doing, on average, it's going to take 50 conversations to get to that closing table.
Love it. That's awesome. Fantastic. Okay, good stuff. So let's move to tip number 2 or key number 2. What is key number 2 to?
You need to become a lead generating machine, which means installing good habits from day one as to where we're going to be having these conversations about real estate. So as a new agent, you may be doing open houses, circle prospecting around your company's listings or closings. Talking to your database is obviously a huge source of leads, but you need to figure out, where am I going to get these leads? Maybe it's internet leads, maybe you're on a team and they're providing you leads, but where are these leads going to come from to get to those conversations? So we need to be out there turning and burning and looking for those leads.
I love it. Okay, so we got more conversations, 50 plus, 50 equals on closing. Lead generation. Now, when we talk about lead generation, I'm assuming that we want to diversify those lead sources and not just have everything coming from one lead source, correct?
Absolutely. But what I also want to caution everyone is that you don't want to be chasing the shiny penny and not getting good at any of them. So for a new agent starting out, select 5 sources, 4 sources, get really good at those, get them as automated as possible, have them turning results, then add a next pillar and then a next pillar. And, maybe we're adding 1 pillar a quarter or 1 pillar a month, depending on how aggressive and how great you are at time management. But you can't be trying to do a little bit of everything and say they all suck. And that's what I see most agents do. They'll do one open house and say open house suck. Or they'll buy an internet lead source. They don't work the leads the way they're supposed to. And then they say they're not working. It's like, no. If you're going to pick a pillar, dive in deep, go deep, fine tune it, watch the videos from the experts who have done it really well, learn those skills. And now my phone's going to ring. Of course, we're going to ignore that.
Probably a lead.
Yeah.
All right.
Learn those skills and dive deep on those sources. But absolutely, you need to diversify your sources, especially in the crazy market we're in. They're changing daily right now.
Well, and to your point, when we talk about diversification, it's, we want to diversify. And as we do so, we want to automate, delegate, and eliminate, right? We want to automate everything we can with that process, delegate anything we can, and then we want to eliminate any of the necessary steps. So good stuff. All right. So what's key number 3?
So for agents, this is a weird one, but I think it's really important to set the habit of watching your pennies. You have to control and tell every penny where it goes instead of letting them fly out the window. I can't tell you how many agents I coach and mentor who at the end of the year go, oh my God, I really didn't make anywhere near what I thought I made. Or, oh my God, I have to pay the IRS and I have no money to do it. And so we have to really control our finances, and we start it from the beginning. It makes life so much easier. So watch every penny, make every penny count. If you're spending money on lead sources, watch that ROI and make sure they're producing for you.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because so many agents are all about, how do I just do more business? But it's not just about doing more business. It's about keeping more of what you make. I'm interested with the people that are watching right now. If you guys could type into your screen, what do you think the key to success in real estate is? If you could just pick 1 or 2 keys to success in real estate, what would they be for you? But yes, Coach Carlin, I would agree that setting the habit of financial responsibility is absolutely key. Benjamin Franklin coined, no pun, or actually pun intended, the phrase that a penny saved is a penny earned. And what he meant by that, at the time he was running the Library of Congress. And to check out a book, you would give them a penny and you would take the book. And then when you would come back with the book, you'd give them their book back and they'd give you your penny back. And thus came the phrase, a penny saved is a penny earned. But really and truly, every dollar we make in our business needs to be held accountable. For us to go spend $100 on dinner, and I think this is a piece that a lot of people forget, do you have any idea, Coach Carlin, I'm curious if you know the answer to this. For me to spend $100 on dinner, if I'm running a team and a typical profitability margin, how much money do I have to earn in order to have $100 I can go spend on dinner?
Isn't it like $150 or something crazy? It's probably worse than that.
$366.
Oh, God. I know it was terrible. Yeah.
Right? That's insane. $366 on average in order to have $100 that I can spend on dinner. Makes you think twice about eating at that expensive restaurant, doesn't it?
It sure does. Yeah.
Well, let's go to number 4. So number 1 was more conversations. Number 2 was lead generation. Number 3 is the habit of financial responsibility. What's number 4?
Only the best. Surround yourself by the best. You need to learn from those that are successful in real estate. Learn from those that are producing at a higher level than you. Um, New agents tend to surround themselves by new agents, and those that aren't doing as much as they want to do tend to surround themselves by the same, and then they all complain to each other and nobody grows or improves. And so, if your goal is really to grow and improve and be successful in real estate, you've got to learn from those who are doing it.
Yep. 100% agree. All right. I love it. And number 5.
Number 5 is my favorite, and I'm working big time in my brokerage right now with this. Like, I've invested heavily in this one, but it's embrace fear. And now we're gonna have a train go by. You gotta love my recordings. Luckily, it's a quick train. Okay.
That's
So
awesome.
embrace fear. You're gonna be afraid. Like, real estate is jumping into a huge world of the unknown. As a new agent, you don't know what you're doing. And then we're forcing you to get on video and talk to the world and tell them, that you're faking it and making it until you make it. But you've got to embrace fear. Every day is different. I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm still learning things every single day. You're never going to know everything. So waiting until you know everything to get out there is failure right from the start. So know you don't know everything, accept it, be okay to admit it, and jump in and get going.
I love that. So again, let me recap for those that are just joining us. We've got more conversations, lead generation, set the habit of financial responsibility, surround yourself with the best agents, which, by the way, I can't say enough about. That's one of the things I love about Club Wealth, is that you're surrounded by people that aren't just, doing a transaction here and there, but our typical agent in Club Wealth's doing a couple hundred transactions a year. That's a pretty big statement, right? Then you look at embracing fear and doing those things that actually scare us. I love this. This is great stuff. So Coach Carlin, what's number 6 in your your top 10 keys to success?
So on that fear note, we're going to talk about social is king. I have so many agents who say, "Oh, I'm just not playing the social media game." Well, guess what? You're not going to be in real estate in 5 years. So, that's the hard truth. You think your database has gotten you this far and it's going to continue? It's not. We have a lot of big players out there in the social media world getting those database clients away from us. And so they're paying big money to do it. So we've got to fight back and make sure we're on social, showing what we're doing in real estate. It's a must. Yep.
Yeah, it's huge. Now, when you talk about social, what platforms do you think we should be on?
It's a diversification. It's trying to attract everybody everywhere. So, it's a balance of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And then we're looking at all the new ones coming down the line. I know there's a lot going on TikTok as well. One of my newest agents is knocking it out of the park though on Twitter. Like, wherever your database and your demographic is, you've got to be there. And video is absolutely number one rule. So video, everything. We don't love it, but we got to adapt and do it.
I love it. Good stuff. All right. And by the way, again, we're talking, for those of you that are just tuning in, we're talking with Coach Carlin Ellis, who closed 138 units last year while simultaneously owning and operating a brokerage with over 140 agents in it. And that 138 units, that's not the production of her 140 agents. That's just her and her small 5-member team. So very impressive numbers. And Coach Carlin is giving us her top 10 keys to success. So what's number 7?
Number 7 is that you do need to be a sales star. This job really does require sales skills, and you've got to learn the scripts, learn how to overcome objections, learn the basics like what a contract says and what a listing agreement says. It's our job to know everything. And on top of that, we also have to learn our market. We have to be an expert in the area we're selling. So there's a lot of education involved. I just caution newer agents, they want to spend so much time learning that they're not doing those conversations. So it's a balancing act.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting you say that. I was asking in the group today about, what is the most important skill that a real estate agent can possess. And I don't know, we had last I checked about 152 comments on that thing. A lot of people had some similar comments there, and some similar thoughts on what skills were required. But I think the general consensus is there is skill required, right? It's not just as simple as I'm going to go get a real estate license and all of a sudden be successful. Now, granted, it's a lot easier to be successful right now than it ever has been before in real estate, but that's going to change and hopefully soon, right? And I hate to say that, and I don't mean to sound like, Dirk Downer here, but at the end of the day, we need the market to change, right? We need to weed out some of these agents who are less, let's just say, proficient or less skilled at the industry and the craft. And we need to get back to that focus on agents that really know what we're doing, especially if we're going to compete with companies like Zillow and Redfin and all the iBuyers out there. If we're going to have the opportunity and the ability to stay relevant as an industry, as real estate agents, we're going to have to weed out the weak ones, and we're going to have to put more focus on the strong ones. So I love that. Be a sales star. You've got to be constantly learning. All right, let's go to number 8, Coach Carlin.
Number 8, be the boss of your time. It's key to be proactive with your schedule and not reactive to your day. Most agents love to wake up, check their email, check their social media, and all they do is react to whatever comes their way. We have to be proactive and just like we're telling our money where to go, we need to tell our minutes where they go. So I live and die by a calendar. Every morning I wake up, I set alarms telling me exactly where I have to be every minute of every day, or what task I need to work on. But you've got to really be proactive or you're going to die.
Yeah, I love that you're bringing that up. I would suggest that developing and living by your perfect daily schedule is arguably the number one key to success for me in real estate. You've got to develop the habits that lead you to success. If you've got the right habits and you follow those habits every single day, then success is a natural conclusion. If you have the wrong habits, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times you work those wrong habits, they're not going to work for you. And so I love this, being the boss of your time. Okay, number 9.
Number 9 is educate. So just like we're learning sales skills, we're also educating ourselves on the market and maybe educating ourselves on new sources of business where we can get new leads. But we don't want to inundate ourselves. A lot of agents love to educate too much. And again, then we're not talking, we're not having those conversations, and we're not doing lead gen and prospecting. So I say educate, not inundate.
So you're saying be a lifelong learner, but don't spend 100% of your life learning.
That's right. That's exactly.
I love
right.
it. That's hilarious. I'm thinking back to all those kids in college, right? That they've been in college for 20 years, and it's like, come on, guys! Like at some point, you got to go be productive. So
I have one of those. Yes. Yeah.
well, you know what they say, right? Knowledge without implementation is like rowing with one oar in the water, right? You just go in circles.
Yeah.
And so I love that you're bringing this up. That said, the education itself is very, very important. So educating yourself, and then finally, number 10. What is our number 10 key to success?
Our number 10 is, I call it gather and grow. We need to gather our database and then grow it. Make sure we're adding to it daily, weekly, monthly.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the lifeblood of our business. So the key is that it always needs to be growing or you're going to die.
That's a very good point. And that's where, some of those, different lead sources, the diversification of lead sources comes in, because those can help you build your database. We talk about building, sorting, and qualifying our databases on a constant basis. So I love that you're talking about gathering and growing. In fact, it's one of the very first exercises, as you know, that we go through with our coaching clients, is ensuring that they're utilizing a CRM, that they're utilizing it properly, that they're tagging people properly inside it, that they're growing that list on a daily basis, and that they're reaching out to them, and making sure that you can do that in a very easy way. Which, by the way, give us 1 or 2 ideas on ways that you see that we can grow our database.
Well, like you said, the lead gen is absolutely going to help us add to the database, talking to the current database and getting them as well to help, give us leads, refer us to their friends and neighbors. That's, one of my favorite ways to do it. But then also establishing yourself as a go-to networker. You become the source of being able to refer them, the plumbers and the local contractors. You're a problem solver. In Texas, we just had this terrible storm. It's like, let everybody know you're here to help, and people will absolutely start coming to you naturally, and that will help grow the database as well.
I love that. And that's actually a really big one. And I'm hoping that a lot of our clients did that with their database, literally just call them up and say, how you doing? Right. It doesn't have to be complicated. Don't ask them for business. That's one thing, man, that is like the kiss of death when people just call through their database and say, so if you were thinking of buying or selling a home or had a friend or family member who was, do you have a realtor you'd refer them to?
Right.
That is not what you want to do. That
No.
is just very self-serving, right? Just call up, see how they're doing. Hey, did they make it through the storm? How's life? How are the kids? How's the family? All that. Just get back focused on their family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, right? Using the Ford technique. Tell them about your upcoming client event. Invite them to that. Low key stuff. All right. So Coach Carlin, let me just recap these really quick. So she shared her top 10 keys to success, and these are fantastic. I'm going to read back through this list. Actually, I'm going to do it from the bottom up. I'm going to start with number 10, work my way up to number 1. Number 10 was gather and grow your database. Number 9 is educate yourself. Number 8 is be the boss of your time. Number 7 is be a sales star. Learn those sales skills. Number 6, social is king. You got to be on social media everywhere. Number 5, embrace fear. Do those things that scare you. Number 4, surround yourself with the best agents. That tells me to join Club Wealth, right? I love it. All right. And come to those Club Wealth events and the Club Wealth masterminds. Number 3, set the habit of financial responsibility. Set the habit of financial responsibility. Number 2, lead generation. And number 1, more conversations. 50 conversations equals 1 closing. That's huge. Now, if you want to get a copy of this list and some more details that go along with it, then go to clubwealth.com/must-dos. That's MUSTDOOS. Club Wealth, I'm sorry, DOS, not 2 O's, just 1 O. clubwealth.com/must-dos with an S on the end of it. And go to that page and you'll be able to download for free the entire list of Coach Carlin's top 10 keys to success. And Coach Carlin, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I would just say that real estate is an amazing career. There aren't many careers where the sky is the limit for income. And if you get really good at it, you can have more time back in your day with the right systems and tools and team in place. So, it's like we have a tremendous opportunity. Our market is amazing. This country is amazing. So, jump in and go big.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, let me just ask you in closing actually 2 final questions. Number 1, why Club Wealth? You're a successful agent, successful broker, and now you're also a coach with Club Wealth as well as a client of Club Wealth. Why Club Wealth? What's got you working with Club Wealth?
So I think I am like the perfect one to answer this question because I've been coached for 10 years in my real estate career. I am a live and die hard believer in coaching. I've been coached by almost all of your competitors. I don't need to say them, but just about everybody out there I've been with. And Club Wealth, like we talked about it, I think briefly earlier, is that we are being coached by producers at such a higher level than ourselves. We're able to tap into that knowledge base. It saves us time, it saves us money. And then our masterminds where we can get in with other agents at the same level we're in and the coaches above us and learn and have that immense knowledge base behind us. It's just unbelievable. It's a phenomenal resource. And so we're being coached by coaches who are actually producing in real estate. And that doesn't happen in other areas.
No, it doesn't. And, I agree with you. I think that's a huge component. Thank you so much for that. I agree that makes such a difference. It's difficult. If I want to get to the top of Mount Everest, I really need a guide who's actually been to the top of Mount Everest before. It's tough to just follow somebody who says, yeah, just kind of walk up there and, just watch out for the crevasses, hopefully you don't fall.
All for the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. We'll pray for you. Good luck. Let us know how it goes. Right. Yeah. So I love it. That's hilarious. Well, good. And then one final question for you. So, and actually I'm going to give you 2 final questions. Next question is Club Wealth events. I know you go to a lot of the Club Wealth events. Tell us why. What value do you get? And why do you keep going back? I mean, don't you hear the same things over and over again? Or
Right. No, first of all, like we said, this market's always changing. We're growing and adding coaches and agents all the time. So there's new ideas being brought to us all the time. But the events going in person, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for LABC coming up. I get to finally leave home and go away from my family. I love my family, but I'm done. At the events, you get to network with other agents, become referral resources. These trips should be able to pay for themselves through referrals if you do it the right way. But then it's having the time to meet with other agents and coaches off time when you're not in the classes. Having drinks with them at the bar in the evenings, or sharing a couple hours when you've got some downtime when you first arrive, with having a meal with them. Like, the opportunity for extended knowledge growth is amazing. So I love these events. I'd go to one every month if I could.
I love it. That's awesome. I'm excited too for all the same reasons you just mentioned. It sure is nice to reconnect with everybody, and there's no better way to network and to mastermind than in person, right?
Yep,
And don't get me
yep.
wrong. I mean, we certainly have online tickets available for the events and stuff like that, but there's just no substitute for being there in person. And it sucks because I know we have some people that for health reasons or other reasons just aren't able to make it to the events in person sometimes, and it's really sad for them. I mean, they miss out. Now granted, they get to participate online and they get lots of value there too, but oh my gosh, I cannot even begin to tell you the growth that happens when you are in person at these events. So really cool. I'm super glad you're coming. So that said, your contact information, and I just wanted to share this in closing, is also on that download. So if you guys want to connect with Coach Carlin, all you got to do is go to clubwealth.com/must-dos. That's MUSTDOS. Clubwealth.com/must-dos. It's in the comments here if you're watching this on Facebook. And just literally go there. You can get her contact information. You can get her download with her 10 top keys. And Coach Colin, do you have anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
No, I really appreciate the time to share. I love this industry, like I talked about before. So congrats to all the realtors out there.
I love it. And thank you so much for your service as a Club Wealth coach. Folks, again, in closing, please remember to reach out to our sponsor. That's Wise Hire. You can reach them at clubwealth.com/Wise Hire. We use them for our recruiting in-house. And we get anywhere from 36 to, we've had as many as 100 people, actually just over 100 people on our weekly recruiting group. What is that? Group interview, group orientation, whatever you want to call it. And so they do a great job. Love them. And other than that, have an awesome day. And thank you again, Coach Carlin, for sharing with us today.
Thanks, Michael. Have a good week.
You too.